Okay, I'm back. I'm in the hat again because I wanted to. Um, Let me share this. I got attacked by a man at my job last night. Okay, I closed the store. When I tell you that this was like one of the most like I live in a ghetto neighborhood, so like crackheads, hookers, all that shit come over. It don't phase me. People be fighting each other outside the store. It don't phase me. People be arguing in the store. It don't phase me. But this dude, this girl walks in, right? She sits like to the far corner of the room, and then this guy comes in through the entrance, which is on this side, and he like throws a paper ball at her and then sits down and starts like whispering to her real like aggressively and shit. And they talking and all that shit. And she's like, okay, we're done. Bye. Get out of here. We're done. And so he's like, okay, whatever. Fuck you then. And then he leaves, okay? He leaves. And then he comes back. And he starts trying to talk to her like he's trying to apologize and shit. And he's like trying to go in for like a kiss and a hug and shit. And she's like, no, get off of me, no. And she's like, stop, you're hurting me. And I'm like, they probably just causing a scene, this is some bullshit or whatever. And then he goes sits back down and he tries to like whisper to her again. And then he comes back in for another hug. And I try to look closely to see if he actually is hurting this bitch. And he is. Like, he's squeezing the fuck out of her arm. Like, I can see, she's wearing a sweatshirt. I can see him, like, wringing her fucking arm like it's, like, a wet towel and shit. And I'm like, oh, hell no. It's just me and an old man in the back of the kitchen. Just us working here. This is gonna be some shit. Damn it, I got my pepper spray underneath the counter. Shit, okay. And I tell him, hey, y'all take that shit outside, go somewhere else or whatever, or just don't handle it here, get out of here. And he's just completely ignoring me. And he's still trying to get at her. And then she kicks him. And he drops some like long black item or whatever. She's like, you tried to tase me? Really? You tried to tase me? And I'm like, oh shit, this nigga trying to be fucking, he gonna have me on cops and shit talking about I done got attacked and all that and whatever. And so I tell her, ma'am, if you don't feel safe, come by the counter. Sir, just give her some space to breathe or just like go somewhere. I don't really want to be in this, whatever. And he's completely ignored everything I said. And he's still staring at her, okay? Like, just talking to her. Just completely ignoring everything that I'm saying about just trying to keep calm and shit. And then he starts to walk up closer to her. She starts getting more scared. And she's crying and shit. And I'm like, okay, here, just step behind the counter. Sir, stay over there. And then I, like, close the door or whatever. I didn't lock it, though, which really wouldn't have made much difference. It's like 3 feet tall. He couldn't jump that shit. He was like 6'3", 6'4", okay? And, like, he goes and he opens the counter door and comes behind the counter on me and he's like, you need to mind your business. And I'm like, well, you came behind the counter, you're making it my business. And she's like, just leave him out of it, just leave, I don't want nothing to do with you, he has nothing to do with this, he's just doing his job, leave him alone. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just here to make my, I literally said, I'm just here to make my rent, alright, I don't need all this. And he's like, oh yeah, what are you gonna do, what are you gonna do? And he gets closer to me, like he's in my fucking face. And then I'm like, I just need you to leave. Just leave. And then he's like, goes out of the counter and he stands in front of the like cash register and he's like, how old are you? And I'm like, just leave. He leaves, right? I go call the police and all that shit. I go sit her in the very back of the restaurant behind the door. And then he comes back. Except this time he got some fucking gloves on. He was far so I couldn't see like what was on the gloves. But at that exact moment, the police came around the other side, and I'm like, that's the nigga right there. Well, I didn't exactly say, I said, that's the guy. And then he went out, went behind the freaking store, and then came back and got his bike and tried to leave. But the police had saw him, so they stopped him. They talked to the girl. I tried to talk to one of the police officers because the manager keeps telling me I need like a fucking police report. And I'm asking him, I'm like, hey, can I get a police report? And he's like, giving me this smirk ass look. Nah, man, you can't get a police report. no, you're a third party, so you can't get one. I'm like, okay. And then he like tells me to move, and I'm like, okay. Just trying to shit. Anyway, long story short, he takes the girl. He interrogates the guy. He and another police officer interrogate the guy on the side of the freaking store. Then they take both of them to go leave. And when they take him, I called my boyfriend, right? And he's like, yo, I saw where he put the gloves. And I'm like, okay. And he told the police officer, this nigga done brought brass knuckles. Like, fucking, they were black. That's why I couldn't tell they were black. But he had brass fucking knuckles. Like, if the police weren't there, he would have fucked me up. And then I call my freaking manager, right? He's not concerned at all about it. You know what he's concerned about? Can you close the store at 3 still? This dude just came behind the counter on me. This dude came in with brass knuckles. You know he wasn't coming in for a fucking hug or some fucking Chinese food. The fuck? And your first concern is, can you close the store still? That's the story of how I got attacked at my job.